with no namers, can I get an amen? Now, how about a hallelujah? That's right, sing it, hallelujah. It's show with no name time. Let's go, time for liftoff. 4, 3, 2,
1, 0.
Come on.
Ignition. Liftoff.
Come on, baby.
Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
We got this.
Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your
And
hats.
get ready for the ride of your life.
The show with no name time.
On Vaughn Radio.
It's the show with no name.
Let's go. Welcome, welcome one, welcome all. Time for another English extravaganza here on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget, the best way to warm up for this show, to be ready for all the challenges that lie ahead, is to listen to my buddy Fitz's program, No Excuses. A masterclass with Fitz, the guy who trains all the teachers, anybody in the last 20 years to come out of Vaughn as a teacher has come through the hands of Fitz. As I always call him, the Fitz filter. El filtro Fitz. That's right. And believe me, he is demanding. Well, you guys have heard him as a teacher. As a friend, he's a great guy. As a teacher, woo! Don't keep making the same mistake. He doesn't have much patience for that stuff. You know? He's pretty strict. But also remember, he's got to set the bar, poner el listón, for all the rest of the Vaughn teachers. So if they see that he's lenient, permisivo, passive, like, well, whatever, then that's kind of the vibe that he's setting. And no, quite the contrary. So you can listen to Fitz and his master class every day right before this show. It's called No Excuses. Yeah. And speaking of masters,
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
that's right, folks. The Vaughn Master. You can do evenings, you can do part-time, you can do weekends. And of course, if you've got time, if you're unemployed, if you're studying, you can do the full-time one and get it done a lot faster. But there's one word that comes to mind, and the word is the perfect word, the apt word, master. If you want to master, llegar a dominar the English language, well, then there's nothing like our master's program. I think it's probably the most thorough, concienzudo, completo of our courses, because when you finish it, you should be able to teach English. You should know it so well. So that is our Masters. Remember, if you want more information about Masters or any of the initiatives or materials at Vaughn, make sure you're following us on social media, and then you can participate. You can ask questions. You can get a free level test. Remember, the doors are open, whether it's online or whether it's one of our cities where we're located, which are Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, or Zaragoza. If you can't stop by in person, please drop us a line on social media and we can answer any questions you may have. And maybe you're looking for a course. Maybe you're looking for some materials. And speaking of materials, let's see what material we're going to look at in today's Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. That's right, our Pop Quiz. And if you love quizzes, if you love challenges, well, don't forget we've got an upcoming trivia night. Mark your calendars. I will be hosting. It's June 3rd. That's right, June 3rd. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. It's at 8 p.m., June 3rd, 2025, at the Toast Tap Room. Awesome place where you can grab a beer and a bite to eat and have some fun with some friends. Your friends being your fellow students and your teachers. So you can join us on June 3rd for this free event, by the way. Free event, June 3rd. Don't miss it. It's at 8 p.m. It's a Tuesday evening. Don't worry, we won't finish too late. I know it's a school night, como decimos nosotros. It's a school night. And, well, not only my daughter or your kids, but we all have to wake up early the next morning because needs must. ¿Te sabes estas? Pues las obligaciones, needs must. Es lo que hay, porque hay que hacer lo que hay que hacer. Needs must. Really good one. Very succinct, very concise, but it says it all. El deber llama, hay que hacer lo que hay que hacer. Needs must. So we understand that, and we're not going to keep you there till midnight. Now, if you want to go out like a rock and roll party animal, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. But usually by around 10 p.m., we're done. Yeah, so it's 2 hours of fun. It's a great time. If you've never been, I don't know why you don't come, and you're able to. You live in Madrid, or you can get to Madrid, because it really is a unique event. If you've never been to a trivia night, it's like nothing else. It's not like going to a bar and everybody just talks to themselves. People mingle, right? La gente mezcla. And a lot of times, as I said, people come up and say, hey, Alberto, my name is Tal. I'm visiting from Tal. And it's great. It's a really nice opportunity to meet you guys. Speaking of opportunities to meet you guys, we have another one too. I've got 2 different appearances. The first one is May 31st. So both of these are 2025, in case you're listening to the podcast. So May 31st, 2025, I'll be at the book fair, La Feria del Libro, Madrid. That's from 11 to 1 at stand 309, 309. And then June 3rd, as I just said, June 3rd at 8 p.m. is the trivia night. All the information you can get over on Vaughn's social media. Just follow Grupo Vaughan. All right, well, what are we going to look at today in our pop quiz? We're going to take a look at something from Conversaciones en Inglés. The good thing about Conversaciones en Inglés is there are 3. So depending what level you're at, you've got different conversations. So you've got beginner, naturally, intermediate, and advanced. And today we're going to listen to one from advanced. Why? Because you guys are totally native. So we're going to listen to a conversation now. And as always, I will have some questions for you afterwards. Because as you know, you can just listen to this show. You can listen to the show and repeat the vocabulary aloud. And you can listen to the show, repeat the vocabulary aloud, and participate in our virtual classroom. It's up to you how much or how little you can participate. But if you don't do anything, I recommend you do one thing, and that is don't just listen to these programs. And I don't just mean mine. Interact with them. So if Fitz says on No Excuses, say it again to his student, that means he's saying it to you too. He's saying, estás difícil. Say it again. Where were you? ¿Dónde estaba? Uno que cuesta a la gente, por ejemplo. Where were you? ¿Dónde estabas? O sea, es un poco raro. Where were you? Pero te debería salir sin pensarlo, porque es una pregunta bastante básica, ¿no? ¿Dónde estabas? Where were you? Where were you yesterday? Right? But it doesn't come out that easily. Y estamos hablando del verbo ser o estar en el simple pasado, in the simple past. So it's not really like rocket science. No es como inglés súper complicado. No es el pasado condicional, which is difficult in English and in Spanish. O sea, en ambos casos, we looked at this last week, by the way. I would have gone if you had invited me, right? And what happens in Spanish, I know a lot of Spaniards don't use it right. Habría, si hubiese, right? And I know a lot of Americans don't use it right. A lot of Americans double would. I would have gone if you would have gone. Nope. I would have gone if you had gone. So it's so difficult. I mean, some structures are so difficult that even native speakers don't have a handle on them. All right. Well, folks, as always, pay attention. Here's a little excerpt from Conversaciones en Inglés. It's available at Von Tienda, and of course, with 4 hours of audio per book. So if you get all 3 of these books, you've got a full course. You've got 12 hours of audio and some really native conversations. Here it is, Conversaciones en Inglés for advanced level.
Have you spoken to your boss yet? You need to speak to him before it happens again.
I've already told you 1,000,000 times. It's not my boss who I need to speak to. The problem I'm having is because of him.
Well, what are you going to do then? You need to stand up to him. If you don't, I will.
At the end of the day, this whole thing started because we're not supposed to sit down when a customer's in the shop. I sat down for 2 minutes and he caught me. I'm obviously in the wrong, so what can I do?
I know, but the way he's treating you isn't fair. You made a tiny mistake. Big deal. Tell him you had been standing on your feet for 5 hours and needed a quick break. It's not a crime.
I've spoken to him, and he said that a customer complained. That's why he has to take action.
What is he going to do?
Well, we'll have a staff meeting about company policy and procedures and professionalism and blah, blah, blah. Then I have to speak to him again on my own, and I'll probably receive a verbal warning.
What? All this because you sat down on shift? Are you just going to sit back and take it? You're crazy.
Elliot, please stop going on about it. I'm not going to get upset about it or make a big fuss. I'd rather let him give me a lecture and then get on with my job than stand up to him so that he continues to give me a hard time. Do you know what I mean?
Well, if I were you, I'd take a seat whenever a customer left the shop. It's ridiculous that you can't.
You're lazy, that's why. To be honest, it does look a bit unprofessional if the assistant is sitting down. It looks like you can't be bothered. Plus, it's not like it's a little shop. We're talking about a jewellery shop where customers spend thousands of pounds on one item of jewellery.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they can sit down in their jobs. I can't believe someone complained. Pathetic. I bet it was someone who has nothing better to do.
Well, what's done is done. Don't worry.
James, what a pleasant surprise. Come in.
I'm Kevin. James is my brother.
Oh, don't pay any attention to me, young lad. I've not been good with names since a box of books landed on my head in 1953. Anyway, let me give you a kiss.
So, how are you, Grandma?
I'm fine, young lad. But what about you? Well, haven't you changed? How old are you now? You must be 10, 11, almost 12.
Gran, I'm 20.
You still have your baby face, though, don't you? That hasn't changed.
If you say so.
And how's school going?
I finished school now and I've started working in admin for an insurance company.
And do you like it?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I think so. I mean, each day seems the same and there are times when I feel like I just need a change.
But James...
Kevin...
But Kevin, you know what? You have the world at your feet. Why don't you make the most of it and do something exciting? Like live in another country. Oh, wouldn't it be nice to live in Spain with all that sun and sand they have?
But what could I do in Spain? I don't speak a single word of Spanish.
Well, maybe you could teach English or work in a holiday resort on the coast. When I was a lass, I used to dream about travelling and learning other languages and about other cultures. But either World War II or your granddad knocked that idea on their head, and I can't remember which.
You know what, Grandma? Maybe you're right. I do need to do something with my life. One thing's certain, I need a change.
Well, James, you're still very young, and you have a lot of life to live. Right, time to put the kettle on. Fancy a cuppa?
Yes, please, Grandma.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughan Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughan Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughan.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughan Town. Vaughan Town, that is right, folks. One of our star programs. It is Vaughan Town, and it is awesome. All right, well, let's see what we got from Conversaciones en Inglés. Interesting conversation there. A boy and his grandma, or his granny. Another way to say it, granny. And it's funny because it seemed like she was a bit forgetful. Olvidadiza, you say forgetful. Or senile, maybe, because of her age. But she still knew some really cool expressions. You know, she said, you have the world at your feet, son. El mundo a tus pies. I don't know if you say the same. Another way to say it, we looked at this one last week. The world is your oyster. ¿Os acordáis de esa? El mundo es tu ostra. You can always say the world is yours, too. What we don't say is, te comes el mundo. You're going to eat the world. Esa es una traducción literal. The world is your oyster. And also grandma. There's another one we looked at recently. A cuppa. Remember that? We were talking about coffee or tea or something. I think we were talking about a cup of joe, a cuppa. Well, if you just say a cuppa, it obviously from context, it'll be tea or coffee. But porque decimos a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. ¿Qué pasa? Nadie dice of. You want a cuppa? You want a cup of coffee? A cup of tea? Entonces ya lo hemos hasta cortado. You want a cuppa? Y del contexto ahí dijo, I'm going to put on the kettle. And that is a very, very British thing. I have a challenge for you guys, aside from the ones I'm going to give you now. Find me a British person that does not have a kettle in their kitchen. Okay. And a kettle, ¿cómo decís esto? Calentador de agua. A kettle. It is the most British, I mean, because it basically boils water. Hervidor, tetera eléctrica. Okay. Tetera, caldero. Well, yeah, it can be a big pot, but in the sense of the one that heats water is called a kettle. That is very British. I've got one. I'm not just saying British people. In fact, you know when I got my first kettle? After I lived with 3 British girls. I was like, why am I going to microwave or boil a little bit of water just to make a cup of tea? And then I discovered the art, the mystery, if you will, of the kettle. And it's really great. It's now I think about it, I'm like, the typical day where you're like, I'm going to make a cup of tea. And you don't have to turn on the stove, el vitro. You don't have to put it in the microwave. You just press the button. It heats up. When it's done, you hear a click, and you got your cuppa. All right, let's see what I've got for you guys today. So the first one is a way of saying, she was talking about it with the boss, and it's a way of saying to confront someone, okay? Casi digo la palabra, de hecho. Hacer frente a algo o alguien, okay? Confrontar, plantar cara. Maybe this will help you. Alzarse en contra. I think that would be like the closest one, if we're thinking literally here. Okay? So, hacer frente, confrontar, use it in context. Of course, the best way to use it is in a way that you would actually use it one day. ¿Hay alguien que tienes que hacerle frente? Is there somebody out there that you need to confront? Or maybe a friend of yours, right? A neighbor, whatever, that you need to confront because, well, maybe they're giving you a hard time. Y eso lo oímos en el audio también. They're giving you a hard time. Te están dando mucha caña. Mal rato, right? They're giving you a hard time. So that's the first one. Hacer frente. To confront somebody and say, hey, wait a second. Come on. No. Okay? The next one, I think you say mount a chicken in Spanish. Okay? Armar un escándalo, montar un escándalo, armar revuelo, hacer un drama, hacer un escándalo. Okay? There are many ways to say it. You can use the one in the audio, or you can use another one you might know. Either way, we'll take a look at all of them afterwards. So, armar el escándalo. We've all done it. We all know someone who's done it. So think of that when you're putting together your example. Mi marido siempre arma un escándalo cuando estamos en el aeropuerto. Whatever, right? And the last one is a collocation that means that you're unwilling to make an effort. Okay? Oh, I didn't know this. En español coloquial, darle palo a. Okay? No tomarse la molestia. Darle pereza. Oh, that would be the best. Yeah, me da pereza hacer tal cosa. Because pereza is laziness, to be lazy, but you would never use that. It makes me lazy. No, entonces ahí tenemos que usar otra estructura, otro conjunto de palabras. Y es la que busco. Okay? Me da pereza discutir con ella siempre. Me da pereza. Think about it. I'm sure there's even a rock band in Spanish called pereza. And I know that word is used, at least in Madrid, I've heard the word a lot. Qué pereza, vaya pereza. Qué pereza esta mañana. Pereza. Well, do you know how to say, me da pereza? Darle palo. See, there's one I didn't know. I guess that's a totally native one. All right, so the number one example I want from you is to confront someone. It's a phrasal verb. It was said in the audio. Okay, to confront someone, to face them and say, come on. Okay, that's enough. Hasta aquí. The next one, armar un pollo, un escándalo, un show, un teatro, un drama. That's number 2. And number 3, how would you tell somebody, me da pereza tal cosa? And again, the best way to really practice is, ¿qué te da pereza? y así lo practicas. Practicas diciendo algo que realmente dirías, right? We're looking for how to not just learn the language, but how to apply it to our situation, our personal situation. So there you go, folks. That's your pop quiz. We'll take a look at those when we come back. We'll see what you guys have to say. Also, we're going to listen to our Say What soundbite as well. We've got our spelling bee. We've got homophones, double trouble, name that movie, name that lyric, famous birthdays, and so much more. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. This is part 2 of today's show with no name. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys this week's question of the week. By the way, a nice round of applause for Alfonso, Chris Valrol, Marisol, Elena, Nuria, Paco, and Anix. They all participated in last week's question of the week. Let's see who's going to participate this week. This week, I want to know, where are we here? Okay, no, not June, not yet. What is your favorite exotic animal? There you go. What is your favorite exotic animal? Obviously, the most important part here is the why, right? I love tigers because blah, 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 blah. That's the important part, the blah, blah, blah. Defend your answer. Why? Why did you say tigers instead of bears? Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! El Mago de Oz. So, what is your favorite exotic animal? If you'd like to participate, send me a 1-minute voice note. You can send it over to aalonso@grupovon.com. Again, it's aalonso@grupovon.com. Keep it at around a minute. You know, pay attention to your sound and all of that. You know, don't record it in the bathroom with an echo, with reverb. You know, find a little quiet corner in your house. You know where, I'll tell you one of the greatest places you can record non-professionally? A closet, un armario. Think about it. The sound's not going anywhere. And the clothes absorb the so hey, in fact, one of the podcasts I listen to regularly, and it's a language podcast, by the way, he records in his closet. He goes, well, until I have, he's got a decent microphone. He goes, but until I have a quiet spot, my closet works. I guess it depends on the size of your closet too. This is where you would love to have a walk-in closet, como decimos, uno de estos armarios con puerta y todo, donde puedes entrar. But man, all right, well, just pay attention to that, because sometimes you guys send me audios and I'm hearing like weird digital sounds, and I've got to say something. My phone's never done that. So maybe you got a problem with your phone or something. And my phone is like 4 years old, so it's not a new phone, but it's never done the it sounds like you're getting electrocuted. So just be careful with that, guys. I mean, imagine I'm telling you, send me an audio for a job, and you send me the audio like that. I can tell you, no matter how good your message is, I'm like, but doesn't sound professional. I'm not saying you need to sound like Michael Jackson's Thriller, okay, like post-produced, but be wary of that, receloso, be aware, consciente of the sound, because it can distract from your message, right? Background noise, a bad connection. I mean, we all know it from talking on the phone or a WhatsApp or a video call. It's happened, or a Zoom. It's happened to all of us. And it really makes the communication a lot more difficult, I should say. All right, amigos, it's time to listen to today's Say What soundbite. Say what? All right, amigos, your Say What soundbite. This is where we hear a famous person speaking, and you guys got to give me the scoop, la primicia. I want to know what you heard, and hopefully you'll be able to tell me it word for word after the third or the fourth listen. All right, so everybody pay attention. This is your Say What soundbite for the first time.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause.
All right. I mean, the guy seems like he's not his first rodeo, as we say. No es su primer rodeo, right? Que tiene experiencia con esto. Seems like I think a pretty good orator. All right. This is not about my opinion. This is about your opinion. So let me give it to you a second time, and then we can share our thoughts.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así de gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damián, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. Oh yeah, this book is the shit. Just one of my 5 books. Let me go in order or else I get lost. You've got English Everywhere, which is 40 different places, situations, from the hairdressers to the nightclub, la discoteca, to the dentist. So you've got all this practical English in English Everywhere. And of course, you've got little lessons where I teach you some common mistakes to avoid, some tricks that can help you. And that's all in English Everywhere. My next book, This Book is the Milk, exceeded everyone's expectations, I believe, and it became a bestseller, which is amazing. If you asked me if I was going to have a bestseller, I would say, come on. Yeah, well, This Book is the Milk is a bestseller. This Book is the Milk 2, the second one in that. And then it's not This Book is the Shit. Then I took a pause from the milk, and I wanted to do a book about traveling. And not so much English that you need for airplanes and airports and train stations, but more like how to approach a city. You know, when you go to an American city, and in this, there are 30 different English-speaking cities. So let's just say Houston, Texas, the one I recorded with Richard Vaughn. When you go there, you don't just learn by, reading the signs. You learn by reading menus, by, talking to people, by eating, by, taking a walk around. And really, you learn through discovery, right? And that's kind of what the book was. It was showing people, you can just read about a city if you can't travel there, because I personally haven't been to all 30 of those cities. But I was able to learn a lot by looking at history of those cities, fun facts, all kinds of things that had to do with the city. And then every city's got its own lingo. Every place has got its own lingo, su propia jerga. And that's what the book is about. It's about learning through discovery, by doing, the best way to learn. And the latest book, This Book is the Shit. So you've got 5 books that I personally worked on. And I would say another 20 or 30 materials that you'll hear my voice on as well. So folks, all of those materials are available at vaughantienda.com, which you can find online, obviously, por el .com, but you can also find the physical location in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, and Zaragoza. So check it out, stop by. In fact, I was talking on Friday, we had Jimena's farewell get-together, Jimena and Claudia, and I was talking to some of the ladies from the call center. And I said, listen, I'm always telling people, to call in and to write in for a free level test. And they said, oh, yeah, sure, of course. So guys, take advantage of it. You can get a free level test, even if it's just out of curiosity, to see if all the time and energy you've put in so far is paying off, dando frutos. Now, if you want my opinion, I'll say yes. But also, I'm not level testing you each individually for 20 minutes. So that's different. I'm judging it based on a sentence here, an audio note here. That's how I judge your progress. Obviously, if I had just you in a private class, or I had you
for more time during the week, then I could give you each your own assessment, evaluación. But I can't do that. I can't do that because, there are a lot of you, thankfully, who listen to the show. But you can drop by. You can drop us a line. Mira, double trouble ahí con drop. Drop by, pásate, drop us a line, dinos algo. And we'd be more than happy to give you a complimentary is another way of saying free, a complimentary level test. All right, let's see who's with us in the house. I see we've got a lot of students who are eager and ready to rock. We've got Open Waters. What's up, Open Waters? Great to have you. Open Water says, good morning, show with no namers. Morning to you, sir. Born to Iron Man says, morning, folks. Morning, Born to Iron Man. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're ready to rock. I know you're ready to rock. Let's see, Open Waters participating in our pop quiz. Let's see. Sometimes you have to draw a line and stand up to your boss. Wow. Excellent. Y te doy un totally native. So to stand up to someone, to confront them, say, hey, listen, I don't like what you did. I don't like what happened. This is not cool. To stand up to someone. Remember this, it's an irregular verb. So si yo te pregunto, en el pasado, o en el presente perfecto, mejor dicho, have you ever stood up to anyone? Have you ever stood? So stand, stood. Okay, so great. And great expression, to draw a line or to draw a line in the sand, también se dice, or to draw the line, es decir, hasta aquí, ¿no? Hasta aquí. Draw the line. So excellent. Open Waters, totally native there. Let's see. The next one, he says, you don't need to make a fuss. Excellent. To make a fuss or to raise a stink. Seguro que hemos visto esta aquí. To raise a stink, to make a fuss, right? These are two ways to say armar un escándalo. Excellent job. And the last one, Open Waters. I feel too lazy to swim after work. I need all my willpower. All right, it's not the structure I was looking for, but it's correct. I feel too lazy, me da pereza. I was looking at it for a different way to say it without saying lazy, but it is correct. After work, I know. This is why I like to go to the gym like first thing in the morning. So, you're done by 8 o'clock. Because if you got to think about it, if you put it off, then, you're thinking about it all day. It's in the back of your head there, So, yeah, and great word too, willpower, fuerza de voluntad. It reminds me of the expression, where there's a will, there's a way. Querer es poder. Que tuve una alumna una vez que dijo, wanting is canning. And I said, no. Wanting is canning. I'm like, el inglés no es tan sencillo. All right, let's see. Born to Iron Man, ready to rock, a pie del cañón. And Born to Iron Man says, it was unacceptable. So I stood up to her, although she made a scene. Great. Lo usaste en pasado. Stood up. Now, let me, while we're looking at this stand thing, also there's another structure that's similar. But it's different because we put listen to the difference. Ready? I stood up to her. Finally, I stood up to her. I never stand up for myself. Okay, so to stand up to someone and to stand up for yourself. Man, you got to stand up for yourself. Okay? So again, same idea, te tienes que defender, man. You got to di algo, right? So to stand up to someone is to confront them. To stand up for yourself is to defend yourself. Similar. And they both use that verb, stand. We know it also from Bob Marley. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. He's not saying literally stand up. Ponte de pies. Álzate. Álzate. Stand up for your rights. Por tus derechos. So there, no tiene nada que ver. Ese stand up con ponte de pie. Bueno, alzarse, sí. Pero me entiendes? It's the figurative stand up. And we use the word stand in many phrasal verbs. You guys, as English speakers, you stand out in Spain. Destacáis. You stand out. Why? Because you do a stand-up job. You know this adjective? To do a stand-up job means top. No? Lo has petado, lo has hecho genial. And then we know, one that I know we've looked at many times, to stand for. Y esto, si vas a usar siglas, tienes que saber stand for. Right? So UN, vamos a ver si vosotros vamos a dar unas cuantas. UN, so yo te lo pregunto, tú me lo contestas. What does UN stand for? UN stands for United Nations. Okay. What does ETA stand for? And it's not, in English, it's not a terrorist thing. So what does ETA stand for? ETA stands for estimated time of arrival. Se usa siempre. What's your ETA? What's the ETA on that document? You'll have it in an hour. Okay, ¿cuándo me lo espero? ETA. All right, let me give you another one. What does FAFO stand for? Esta es buenísima. Esta expresión existía cuando yo era un chaval, pero no lo hicieron sigla todavía. What does FAFO stand for? FAFO stands for fuck around and find out. O sea, haz el tonto y te enterarás. So it's these, you know, these typical accounts, darwinismo, ¿no? Gente que se tira el balconing y alguien muere, or maybe they break their back or something. Like, he FAFO'd. He fucked around and he found out. FAFO. F-A-F-O. Or what about FOMO? What does FOMO stand for? The fear of missing out. No me quiero perder nada. Happens a lot in youth. When you get older, you have what I have, JOMO, the joy of missing out. Pasadlo bien, chavales, ya me contáis mañana. Right? So these are just some, but remember, stands for is the one we use there. That's the one. All right? Let's see. The next one, Born to Iron Man, says bearing with red tape. Bearing with, porque se usa mucho, I can't bear red tape. Pero ya el with me suena, yo diría putting up with. Esto es lo más nativo. Si quieres, putting up with, soportando, aguantando. Putting up with red tape, burocracia. De hecho, vamos a darle un totally native. The first one was for me. No, I'm joking. So it was, he says, bearing with red tape really drags me down. Great. You guys sound excellent today. It really drags me down. Drag, arrastrar, me tira abajo. And he says, I can't be bothered to do it. Me da pereza hacerlo. Ahí lo tienes. I can't be bothered to put up with that attitude. I can't be bothered to go shopping today. I'm going to have to go tomorrow. Right? Me da pereza. I can't be bothered. Más el infinitivo. Okay? I can't be bothered to lo que sea. The best way, again, think about it. ¿Qué te da pereza? I can't be bothered to fight with people when you're on the highway or on the roads because people are crazy. It's not worth it, right? Me da pereza. I can't be bothered. No me puedo molestar would be the literal translation of it. And remember, we looked at this word the other day. Molestar, molest is acosar sexualmente. We already said to molestar is to bother, to bug, we said as well, and to pester. These were three words we looked at last week on the program. All right, excellent job, fellas. Give it up for Open Waters and Born to Iron Man. Rocking and rolling. Let's see, Mariona. Hey, Mariona, great to have you with us. I haven't read your name in a while. And she says, good morning, lovely show with no-namers. Today, for a while here to listen from work. Well, great. Wherever you listen from, there's no wrong way to listen. And I'm glad you could tune in, Mariona. Great to have you with us. All right, Open Waters. Open Waters talking about what he heard in today's Say What soundbite. As I said, a great orator today. Vaya orador. Hoy, no? And Open Waters says, I heard an American man giving a speech about some events, acontecimientos, buena palabra, events that took place in LA, in Los Angeles, recently, and that to tackle it, they need to go to the roots and the cause. Open Waters? Absolutely. Absolutely. You got it. So you're this close to getting it word for word because you got the gist of it. You got the main idea, right? The only thing, I'm going to tell you something. The way the guy says root, I don't say root. He says root. We got to get to the root. I want you to pay attention to that the next time we hear it. I would naturally say root. O sea, la palabra ruta y raíz para mí suenan igual. And I've got to be honest, as much as he's a great orator, I haven't heard too many people say root. But that's crazy. Open Waters. You caught it there. I thought that was going to be the tricky word today, but Open Waters has demystified it. Great job. Folks, we have got to take a quick commercial break right now. When we come back, we're going to take a look at our homophones. I think they're pretty easy today. Also, I'll give you the Say What soundbite as well. We've got our spelling bee, we've got double trouble, movies, music, jokes, and so much more to come. And, oh my God. I was just going to say, and after this show, you can tune in to test your English with Jimena Holiday. Don't make me cry. Don't make me cry, folks. I miss them already, and they just left. You know, they just not even 48 hours ago, they had their last day. But hey, they are in the pantheon of greats, Claudia and Jimena. All right, folks, we'll be right back with much more. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. This is the third part of the show with no name, or the second half. Call it what you will, but call it fun. This weekend, talking about a blast from the past, I saw Juanjo. Do you guys remember Juanjo? Juanjo, or another, I'm gonna find you. Juanjo, Nacho, Macho Man, and Tino. So it's amazing, you know? Even the friends that I've made here at Vaughn who are no longer here, que ya no están aquí, we're still friends. That's the beautiful thing. As you guys know, Vaughn is, for many of us, more than just a company, right? I mean, Richard Vaughn is my idol, you know? And so, yeah, I had the boys over for a barbecue this weekend. Whew, that was fun. Good times. I gotta say, Monday morning, though, it was tough. Even though the barbecue was on Saturday. Well, I'm old. It takes me some time to recover these days. Oh, man. All right, well, we're going to kick off this part of the show with our homophones. Then we're going to listen to our Say What soundbite for the third time. And then we've got our spelling bee. And today we are going to Vietnam, baby. Or as they called it back in the day, Nam. I was in Nam. It reminds me of the character from The Big Lebowski. The character in The Big Lebowski, what was his name? Walter, played by John Goodman. And I remember there's a scene where he relates everything to Vietnam. You know, he had post-traumatic stress syndrome. They used to say he was shell-shocked. Eso era el término antiguamente. Until they said, wait, shell-shocked? Que de tantos shells from the bullets and ya le han perturbado la cabeza. But now we know it's called post-traumatic PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. And there's a scene where he's like, yeah, well, back in Nam, when we were face down in the mud. Dice, cuando estaba en Vietnam, como te digo, lo llaman Nam, I was face down in the mud. I died for my country. I saw good men die. And all of a sudden, the dude, El Notas, you call him, the Big Lebowski, says, Walter, not everything has to do with Vietnam, man. I'm sick of it. What a great movie it is. But I can't hear the word Vietnam now without thinking of that character. But sadly, he was playing a character that many of us know. A lot of young boys who went to Vietnam or to war in general did not come back the same. You know, I'm sure I don't have to tell you how that works, but I can't even imagine it. I can't imagine watching people die and shooting people and dead bodies and the smell of guns. I mean, it's so far from my reality and people who are civilians. Civilians are people who are not in the military. All right, well, my amigos, let's kick off with homophones on the show with no name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's homophones only on the show with no name. Let's see what words are coming up in today's homophones. The first word is a word you even use in Spanish. But do you pronounce it correctly in English? Well, we're going to find out right now. Now, the word is correo. And it can be correo electrónico ya, o también correo ordinario, as you call it. And we'll look at if you need to distinguish between the two. I'll tell you how to do that. But in context, no tienes que decir email. Did I just say the word? No, I didn't say anything. No. Hey, look over here. Me and my big mouth. All right. So the first word is correo. Servicio postal. Correo electrónico, as I said. Es también mandar o enviar, right? As a verb as well. Okay? And the second one is very common to see when you're filling out a document, rellenando un documento, and it says varón o hembra. That's where I learned those words in Spanish. ¿Dónde crees que? Porque yo sabía hombre, mujer, but I never heard varón and hembra. And then when I remember I was filling out, in fact, the first time I had no idea. And I remember asking the guy, I'm like, pongo varón o hembra? And he was like, hombre, varón, no? And I was like, it says hombre? He's like, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the right one. But I wasn't familiar with those words, right? It's like the word wife or husband. Yeah, that's great. But in a legal sense, it's your spouse, right? So if you have a contract or something, your spouse, right? So that's a different one there. Depends if we're talking in the legal sense a lot of times or just speaking, normal among friends, entre amigos, like we are right now. So the first one is correo, mandar correo. As I just said, it's got a lot of different uses. And the second one is varón, hombre, macho, masculino, blah, blah, blah. All right. También es macho si hablamos del enchufe. También when we're talking about plugs, right? We say macho y hembra too, the same way you do. All right. So those are your two words. Hopefully you're familiar with them and hopefully you know how they sound. All right. Also, let me give you the Say What soundbite. Here it is for the third time, amigos.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause.
¿Qué tiene que ver la Universidad de Oxford con Vaughan? Pues muchísimo. Es una alegría anunciar que Vaughan ha sido certificado como centro examinador de Oxford Test of English. A partir del próximo mes de marzo 2023, podrás hacer los exámenes de Oxford Test of English en los centros de Vaughan. Si quieres más información sobre esta iniciativa de Vaughan y Oxford, puedes ver más en nuestra página web, grupovaughan.com. O bien síguenos en redes sociales para más información. Oxford Test of English con Vaughan.
Brilliant!
That's right, the Oxford Test of English, and you can get it done now through Vaughan. All right, let's see now. We've got some people participating in our homophone section. The first one to participate is Born to Iron Man, and he was really quick, I must say. You are quick on the draw. ¿Sabes esta expresión? Lo decían en el oeste. In a duel, to draw es sacar. So if you're quick on the draw, sacas tu arma rápido, eh? Wow, he's quick on the draw. También lo usamos fuera del contexto de armas, evidentemente. Right? It's like everything, You're armed to the teeth doesn't have to mean you're coming with guns. It can mean you've got English resources, right? So again, a lot of things have that second or figurative sense behind them. Just as we looked at before, stand up. Okay, ponte de pie, pero también es stand up for yourself. Stand up to people who treat you bad, right? Then still same idea. Don't sit down. Don't just be passive. So the idea stays the same, but it becomes a little more figurative is the word we would use. All right, let's see. Born to Iron Man says the correct words, which is step one. And he says they sound alike. All right. Open Waters gives us the two words, also correct. And he says they're homophones. The boys are on fire today. What can I say? They're not just quick on the draw, but they did a great job in the pop quiz. And, well, do you trust them? I do. They sound exactly the same. Now, please, next time you say mail, in English it's not mail, como que creéis, mucha gente, y lo entiendo porque es un anglicismo que se usa en español, pero si lo vas a decir en inglés no hay sílaba extra y no es mail. La I no, mail, ale. Cerveza ale, la británica es muy popular, or Samuel Adams in the United States, ale, right? And in fact, that's a homophone as well. You've got ale, la cerveza, A-L-E, que es muy importante porque si puedes pronunciar ese sonido, puedes pronunciar muchas palabras más. Ale, pale, stale, pan que está duro, it's stale, right? So again, if you can make the sound once, you can make it a million times. And the good thing is, most sounds are repeated. throughout the language. So ale, I would like some ale. And we looked at the other one too. The other one is AIL. Okay. And ale, we talked about ale and ailments. So if you ail, it means you're sick, right? We have the expression for what ails you. ¿Sabes qué significa? Eso es para todos los males. Vale. Beer, for what ails you. Vale para todo. So that's the same sound. Ale, ale. So the male mailed a letter, right? Sabemos que es un verbo regular, lleva ed, mailed, acaba con sonido de. O sea, que si yo te pregunto, did you mail it? ¿Cómo me contestarías? Did you mail it? Yeah, I mailed it, right? La de mailed se une más naturalmente con el it. So I mailed it. Did you mail it? Yeah, I mailed it. Okay. All right. Excellent job, fellas. Wow. On fire today. Let's see if we can keep that pace up for today's Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
All right, amigos. All right, it is our Spelling Bee. And round one is ruthless, despiadado, right? Round one is hellish. Round one is like the battle of whatever in Vietnam, okay? Like it's not for everybody. It's not for all audiences. All right. As always, dot your I's and cross your T's. Pon los puntos sobre las I's. Because if there's any part of the show where we're looking for perfection, it's here, right? Because the other part, bueno, me equivoqué, falta un 2, pero aquí, there's not too much room for error. There isn't a lot of margin for error or room for error. Decís lo mismo, ¿no? Margen para error. All right, so good luck. This is going to be like going into battle. Maybe I said that for a reason then. All right, here we go. Let's capitalize the first letter of every word. The first one is H-O space C-H-I space M-I-N-H space T-R-A-I-L. The second one is A-N-N-A-M-I-T-E space R-A-N-G-E space T-R-A-I-L. The third one is L-A-O-S. The fourth one, C-A-M-B-O-D-I-A. The fifth one, S-I-H-A-N-O-U-K space T-R-A-I-L. And the last one is 1959-1975.
Howdy, Richard Vaughn here, founder and host of Vaughn Radio. Meet my amazing team.
Hello there, this is Julia from the Let's Get Random show. Let's navigate life together, practicing our English.
Hi, this is Kyle Miller. I present the Drive Time Show every day at 6 o'clock on Vaughn Radio.
Hi, this is Jimena.
Y yo soy Nacho.
And you can listen to us every day on Test Your English
A las 12:30.
at 12:30. Tune in.
This is Fitz from No Excuses. Let's get ready to rumble. Come rumble with me on No Excuses.
This is Chris with Frankly Speaking. The doors open every night at 7:30. Let's talk soon.
Hi, this is Dave Boyes from The Salad. Join us every day, live at 5.
Hey, it's Alberto Alonso from The Show with No Name. And don't forget about Rob, Andy, Ruby, and Tino.
Download our free app, Vaughan Radio or Vaughn Radio, and learn English with all of us on the go.
That's right, amigos. Don't forget to download the free Vaughn Radio app, and you can learn English with me and all my amigos anytime. That's right, as long as you've got an internet connection, or you don't even need an internet connection. You know that, right? For podcasts, you download them when you have an internet connection, and then they're on your phone, right? Then you've already got them downloaded. And I've made that mistake before. I remember I went on a plane once, and that was the last time I did that. And I'm about to listen to a podcast, and I had just deleted all my downloads. So I had nothing. I mean, I could connect to the Wi-Fi on the plane. I don't like doing that. I don't trust those networks. You know, free Wi-Fi, connect here. Yeah, right. Have fun. So I remember saying to myself, always have some podcasts downloaded and have them there in the vault, in la recámara. So if you go on a trip, you've got your favorite podcasts. And the same thing I tell you for your Vaughn podcast. The next time you're going on a trip, or you've got to be at the same place for a while, well, make sure you've got, and you don't have an internet connection, you're going out to the countryside for the weekend. You don't need an internet connection if you've got them downloaded on your phone. That's the good thing about podcasts, because technically you don't need an internet connection. Well, you need them to initially download it, naturally. But once they're on your phone, you've got it. So you always keep a couple in the vault. It's a little trick, because once you're up in the air, or once you're in an area where no hay cobertura, there's no service, it's too late. All right, let's take a look now. We've got the guys. You guys are in the trenches today. Las trincheras. Face down in the mud, como dicen in The Big Lebowski. All right, Born to Iron Man, our soldier. The first one is correct, sir. The second one is also correct. The third one's correct. The fourth one's correct. Ooh, we're getting close here. The fifth one is perfect. And ladies and gentlemen, the sixth one is also perfect. Give it up for Born to Iron Man. Nice job. Wow. Impressive. Very impressive. Also, Open Waters. Let me take a quick look. Open Waters. Yours look right too. The fellas are on fire. That's an interesting word, because the word is fellow, pero nadie lo dice así. We say fellas. Hey, fellas. Con una A, lo verás. Good fellas. O sea, la película Uno de los Nuestros no es good fellows, aunque la palabra es fellow, pero nadie lo dice así. We say, hey, fellas. So good job, good fellas. Mafiosos. All right. Excellent job. Born to Iron Man and Open Waters getting it on the first go. And this one was tough because we have words that aren't even English, right? We have some Vietnamese words. We've got some years in there, and it makes it a little bit more complicated. All right, round two. Here, I'll slow down considerably because, well, the first one's just unfair, but not to you guys, because you can get it. All right, the first one is H-O space C-H-I space M-I-N-H space T-R-A-I-L. The second one is A-N-N-A-M-I-T-E space R-A-N-G-E space T-R-A-I-L. The third one is L-A-O-S. The fourth one, C-A-M-B-O-D-I-A. The fifth one, S-I-H-A-N-O-U-K space T-R-A-I-L. The sixth one is 1959-1975. All right? There you go, folks. Now, why did I choose these words? Well, as I said, today we're going to Nam. And in 1959 today, the North Vietnamese Army established something they called Group 559. Now, what was their responsibility? What were they in charge of? Well, their job was to determine how to maintain supply lines. Supply lines or líneas de suministro, right? Para que le llegan las cosas a los soldados to South Vietnam. Okay, now you're thinking, Group 559, what is that? Well, the resulting route was called the Ho Chi Minh Trail. El Camino Ho Chi Minh. So now you know it? Yeah, okay. So, of course, everybody's heard, even if you don't know very much about Vietnam, everybody's heard of the Ho Chi Minh Trail. I remember the first time I heard the word, you know where it was? Good morning, Vietnam. And he said, okay, today on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And I remember thinking, Ho Chi Minh Trail, what's that? Well, there you go. Who said you can't learn from a comedy? So yeah, so today in 1959, now I'll tell you something, parts of that route already existed, right? They were routes that were even, some parts of it were dirt, dirt roads. So it was a network, because if you think about it, you'll think, oh, Ho Chi Minh Trail, it starts here and ends here. Yeah, but there are like sub routes, like it's almost like a river. It breaks off into parts, some parts. And remember, it's very mountainous, that area as well. So you can't just go right over a mountain. Sometimes you got to go around it. And there were even underground tunnels in certain parts of it. The Ho Chi Minh Trail. And so those were your words. Number one, Ho Chi Minh Trail, El Camino Trail. Number two, the Annamite Range Trail. What? The Annamite Range Trail? Well, yeah, that is another name for it. I had never heard that one. But yeah, Annamite Range Trail. I think everybody knows it. Named after Ho Chi Minh, obviously, the leader, Ho Chi Minh. But another name for it is Annamite Range Trail. Now, you know why? I imagine it's because it's in the Annamite Mountains, because a range es una cordillera. So there you go. See, sometimes you can just figure it out. I could be wrong, but it makes all the sense in the world. Number two, Laos, or as I've heard, they call it Lao. I'm not sure. I know most Americans say Laos, but if I'm not mistaken, I heard somebody say, you don't pronounce it Laos, it's Lao. The S is not said. Well, either way, most Americans, we say Laos, okay? Cambodia is number four. Love that country. What an amazing, gorgeous, beautiful place, magical place. You say Cambodia con Y. For us, it's Cambodia. Cambodia. Number five, the Chinook Trail. Now, what is this Chinook Trail? Well, basically now when they look back in time, because the most popular, everybody, Ho Chi Minh Trail, they're moving supplies. There were just some attacks along the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Well, they realized there was another one called the Sihanouk Trail, which ran through Cambodia, and it was handling, aguantando, significantly more supplies than the Ho Chi Minh Trail. The most popular was the Ho Chi Minh Trail, but the one that was really, maybe that was the secret. Everybody was looking at the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and they were saying, well, we're going to use the Sihanouk Trail. Either way, it's a fascinating time in history. Sadly, as I said, many people died unnecessarily, honestly. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but there's a documentary on Netflix. It's like 7 parts, I think. And you feel like you're there. It's in living color. Incredible. All right, amigos, we have got to go to our quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the rest of today's show. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. This is part 4 of today's show with no name. Don't forget to stay tuned because you've got amazing programs all afternoon and evening here on Vaughn Radio. You know it. Born to Iron Man says, do you know the song? It's a holiday in Cambodia. Don't forget to pack your wife. It's a holiday in Cambodia. You'll pay with your life. Something like that. Yeah, I know it. Bueno, sí, te lo acabo de mostrar, ¿no? Cantando. Oh, it's a holiday in Cambodia where people dress in black. The Dead Kennedys. Oh, yeah. Now, you can imagine when I went to Cambodia, Born to Iron Man, and all of you, I had that on repeat. Oh, it's a holiday in Cambodia. And the end of the song, he's going Pol Pot, Pol Pot, Pol Pot. Pol Pot was the dictator. Hey, who said you can't learn from the Dead Kennedys? Or a comedy, a mindless comedy. You can learn anywhere you want. Oh, it's a holiday in Cambodia. Don't forget to pack your wife. No te olvides de meter tu mujer en la maleta. It's crazy. Yeah, the song is not like it sounds. It's a dark look at a holiday in Cambodia. Temazo, Born to Iron Man, The Dead Kennedys, Jello Biafra. Oh, yeah, I know my stuff, buddy. All right, we've got a lot to go, so why don't we take a look at today's Double Trouble. Yeah.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
All right, my amigos, here we go. This is, did I say triple? Well, it is. It's a triple trouble. I said double. Sorry. So you got to use the same word 3 times. Good luck. Vamos a repasar unas reglas básicas. Tienes que tener los pies firmes en la tierra. Si no, te voy a castigar. Okay, there you go. I'll tell you what, my daughter knows this one. Le digo, ¿quieres que te castigue? No quiero. Come on. In English, obviously, I say it. So, vamos a repasar, a ir sobre unas reglas básicas. Tienes que tener los pies firmes en la tierra. Okay, no estar en las nubes. ¿No? Tener los pies en la realidad. Si no, te voy a castigar. It's a triple trouble. You have to use the same word 3 times. I know somebody is going to figure it out. And in the meantime, let me give you today's Say What soundbite. Here it is for the 4th and final time.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause.
¿Qué tal vas de ánimo? ¿Necesitas un empujón? ¿Un poco de aliento? No sweat. No te preocupes. Pásate por vaughantienda.com y hazte con nuestro nuevo material multimedia. 365 días de wellness e inglés. Y viene de la mano de tu propio personal trainer profesional, David Gómez Agudo, conocido por sus miles de seguidores en las redes como Fitbull Coach. Trabajarás fitness, mindset, nutrición y por supuesto el inglés. Y viene con más de 250 vídeos para que entrenes junto con tu coach. Es un win-win. Haz que este año sea tu año, con 365 días de wellness e inglés. That's right, folks. It is an awesome material, and it's available now at Von Tienda. Again, if you're looking for courses and kind of a little bit of everything we do, our new AI as well. We've got a learning with AI. You say EA, we say AI. And all of that information is at grupovon.com. But let's say you know exactly what you want. Well, you can go right to Von Tienda and you can pick it up as well. All right. So far, nobody has figured out our triple trouble. I'm checking over here, but nobody yet, huh? All right. Well, I'll tell you what, since we've got a lot of stuff to do, why don't we take a look at today's movie? Name that movie. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Name That Movie here on the show with no name. And as always, we're going to learn English from pop culture, from a movie. And I can tell you today, we're even going to learn from the title. Hay veces que solo con el título podemos aprender. Okay? So here we go. Here's a little synopsis of the movie. The events focus around a crisis hotline business on one crazy night during the Christmas holidays. Ahí lo tienes. Pretty simple premise. Okay, so the events, los acontecimientos, focus, no focus, dilo conmigo, focus. The events focus around a crisis hotline business. Now, a hotline es un número de teléfono que puedes llamar de estos, okay? And crisis, ¿te suena? You say crisis, we say crisis. So the events focus around a crisis hotline business on one crazy night during the Christmas holidays. So, you know, one of these numbers you call if I don't know what to do, I'm feeling suicidal, God forbid, you know, I hope you never have to call those lines. And I imagine you gotta be a special kind of person to be able to deal with that. I mean, I know myself, I could never do that job. I would hear people and it would break my heart, you know? Now, I would try and help them, but a part of me would just be like, man, what's wrong? You know? And so I know myself. I don't have the grit to do that. Grit. Vamos a ver la palabra grit. I don't have the grit to do that. El coraje. Yeah, another way to say that. El valor, firmeza to do that. All right. And so that's the story there. Let's see if anybody knows it. Oh, wait, hang on. I've got Daniela. Daniela's taking a stab at today's triple trouble. Let's see how she did. Daniela, great to read your name. And Daniela says, let's go through some ground rules. You need to have your feet on the ground, or else I will ground you. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Daniela. Wow. Let's go over, te valen los dos, right? Go through, repasar, to go over some ground rules. Now, ¿sabes de dónde viene esto? Pues when you go to play baseball, you got to know the ground rules de ese campo. O sea, los reglas básicas de cualquier sitio, okay? So it comes from baseball. We were looking at a lot of basketball idioms last week as well. Well, this one's from baseball. We're going to go over or go through some ground rules. You need to have your feet on the ground. Se puede decir también, you need to have both feet on the ground, okay? Or you need to be grounded. ¿Te sabías eso? You need to be grounded. O sea, como quieras, pero you got to have both feet on the ground. You got to have your feet on the ground. You've got to be grounded. Get your head out of the clouds. Es otra forma de decirlo, al revés, ¿no? Deja de soñar y estar en las nubes, right? And she says, or
Or else, muy bien el else. Me encanta ver ese else ahí. Or else I will ground you. Or you're going to be grounded, si queremos ponerlo en la voz pasiva. But excellent job. Great job, Daniela. Also, Born to Iron Man, he says, we're going to ground in some basic rules. Doesn't sound natural. Ground is como moler. I like the effort, but it doesn't sound too natural. That first ground is ground rules, some ground rules, reglas básicas. Okay, let's go over, so es frase hecha. Let's go through some ground rules before we begin. Okay. The next one, he says, you have to stay grounded with your feet on the ground or I'll have to ground you. All right. You used it 4 times, but it's redundant in the middle. Right? Because you have to stay grounded with your feet on the ground means the same thing. So choose, in that case, I'm glad you know both of them. Choose one, the one that makes the most sense or is easier to say. So excellent job, Daniela. And Born to Iron Man, wonderful effort there as well. And Daniela says, hello, always listening, although not always participating. Greetings. Well, Daniela, then you're in the majority. Because, as you know, maybe on a good day here, we can have anywhere from 15 to 20 people live, right? Live. I don't mean on the app. I mean on YouTube, watching the show. But we have thousands and thousands of downloads. So thank you again to all of you who tune in. And that's, again, without you guys, the 20 of us wouldn't be here, right? If it was just 20 people, 15 people every day, that would not be good. But no, you guys are the, as I always say, the ambassadors, the ones who represent the ones who can't be here. And I know it too, because I see when you guys meet, oh, you're Tal. Thank you very much. You're always motivating me. So you guys, no stress, no pressure. But those of you who participate, you've got quite a big weight on your shoulders there because you are the model students. All right, let's see. Did anybody get today's Name That Movie? All right, no worries because Chris isn't here. The movie is called Mixed Nuts. Now, mixed nuts are frutos secos, las que te ponen en el bar, ¿no? Pistacho que tiene, bueno, pistacho nunca tienen. You're lucky if you get a cashew in there, un anacardo. But mixed nuts, frutos secos. But also, we looked at many ways to say crazy last week, right? What was one of them? Mixed nuts. Locos mezclados. O sea, so it's got that double meaning of, see, can I have some mixed nuts? Or mixed nuts, muchos locos mezclados. All right. And that's that double meaning over there. And this is a movie that came out in 1994. It's directed by Nora Ephron. So she's not only the writer of the movie, but she also directed it. Actress, very talented actress, writer, director, Nora Ephron. And it stars Steve Martin, the one and only Steve Martin. I don't know what it's called in Spanish, but all right. Well, in fact, it's a remake. I didn't know this. This was a remake of a French comedy film called Santa Claus is a Stinker. What? ¿Que apesta? Bueno, en este caso, stinker no es tan apestoso que canalla. Oh, man, you're a little stinker, huh? What a stinker. No, es como decir capullín, capullete, right? You're a little stinker, huh? It's not offensive, as you would say, you're an idiot, you're a moron, eres idiota, but you're a stinker. It's como tú, tú, listillo, like a little way of saying, like, ahí te he visto, you little stinker. So it's called Santa Claus is a Stinker. Okay, that's the French version. Now, when they released it, the film's French title, when they translate it literally, and this is, I guess, why it's good that they don't translate movies literally sometimes, in English would be Santa Claus is Garbage. Would anybody want to see that movie? Santa Claus is garbage, right? Le Père Noël est un ordure. That's the original title of the original movie, Mixed Nuts. Let's take a look at the scene that I've chosen for you. It's the LA Times automated responder. Okay, es LA Times is a newspaper, un periódico, and it's the automatic responder, right? Un mensaje de voz estos. And it says, "Thank you for calling the Los Angeles Times. If you would like to order a subscription, please press 1. If your newspaper did not arrive this morning, press 2. To place a classified ad, press 3. Classified ad is quiero, busco, vendo, right? We call them classified ads or want ads, right? Quiero, busco. So to place a classified ad, press 3. To speak to the editorial desk, city desk, national desk, international desk, sports desk, metro, view, or calendar sections, press the first 3 letters of the desk you desire, followed by the star key. In the case of the first 3, or the pound key in the case of the latter 5. Now that's where it got confusing. So the pound es el hash. Lo llaman los británicos hash. Pero y nosotros lo llamamos hashtag en internet. Pero cuando eran los landlines, los fijos, that was called the pound symbol. Aunque no es el libras, that was called pound. Right. Ahora ya it's changing. Nobody really knew what it was for on the phones anyway. So it got really confusing. Press the first 3 letters of the desk you desire, followed by the star key. In the case of the first 3, or the pound key in the case of the latter 5. The latter, los que siguen, los últimos 5. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, Mixed Nuts. All right, it's time to move on. It's time for your joking.
Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar. You're joking.
All right, you're joking. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Open Waters. He got today's Say What soundbite. And the word you're missing, let's see, the events or the repetition. La palabra Open Waters, que ahora lo vamos a ver más en detalle, pero es la repetición de tal evento. So the events or the repetition of events. But excellent job. You're just missing one word there. Wonderful. All right, here you go, folks. Some jokes for you. Let's see if you get them. Why does the military plant trees every year? Okay. Why does the military or do the military? You can say both. Lo único es que si vas en singular, sigues en singular. No cambiemos a they y luego hemos empezado que son it. Because you can talk about the military as one group or they, ellos. But tiene que hacer juego con el resto de la frase. That's all. In that case, when you have 2 options, right? Okay, so why does the military plant trees every year? To grow the infantry. To grow the infantry. Infantería. Infantry. Árbol infante. To grow the infantry. All right. It's really bad. But I told you it was going to be bad. All right, here's another one. Why did the optometrist set his clock to military time? To see 2020. Well, military time. You guys use military time in Spain. 22 horas, 20 horas con 20. Well, do you get the joke? Okay, why did the optometrist set his clock to military time? To see 2020. Las 8:20 de la tarde, pero also, if you have 20/20 vision, ves perfecta. Tu visión es perfecta. 20. So why did the optometrist set it to see 20/20? Para ver perfectamente. I know, that's a good one. Y te enseño la expresión. Hindsight is always 20/20. No, siempre ves las cosas claras mirando hacia atrás. Hindsight, como behind. Hindsight is always 2020. All right, the last one. Why didn't the officer respond when they asked him how he got started in the military? Well, it was private. I know you know private, privado, but also private is soldado raso, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, mira, ves, a veces se te quedan las cosas. Private. All right, those jokes are really, really bad, but hopefully you learn some secondary meanings. Folks, it's time for famous birthday trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays. Birthdays for me. Famous birthdays. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
All right, folks, we are going to fly through famous birthdays. The first person was born today in 1945. He is the co-founder and guitarist of the group and the principal, the main songwriter of the group, The Who. O sea, o lo sabes o no. The guitarist, second, he's a backup singer too. He also sings, but he is the main songwriter of The Who. Like this guy's name is synonymous with The Who. All right, that's number one. Number two, she was born in 1941. She is an American director, producer, and screenwriter. She did Sleepless in Seattle. She did You've Got Mail. Hey, we looked at the word mail today in our homophones. She also directed Mixed Nuts, today's Name That Movie, which I just mentioned a moment ago. So I just said her name seconds ago. And last but not least, this guy was an American minister and activist, a revolutionary guy, and a spokesman for the Nation of Islam. He was assassinated in 1965. And I would say next to Martin Luther King Jr., he's kind of one of the other pioneers of, bringing the African-American or black cause to light. Okay. And say, wait, there's a lot of injustice here. What's going on here? And he stood up to the powers that be, para usarlo de antes. He stood up to, right? He stood up for himself and for his community, right? And he stood up to those powerful institutions, como los llamamos, los que mandan, the powers that be. All right, number one, ladies and gentlemen, the person's name, and I'm sure you've heard it before, Pete Townsend from The Who. Number two, Nora Ephron. And number three, Malcolm X. That's right, Malcolm X. And that's going to bring us over to our Say What soundbite. This is Malcolm X. He was talking about police brutality, something that's still a problem in my country, at least. Not just for black people, anybody. Just don't get on the wrong side of a police officer in my country. And he says, in order for you and me to divisar, inventar, some kind of method or strategy to offset, and that's a great word, to offset. A ver cómo lo traducen. Compensar, excellent word. To offset some of the events or repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently. We have to go to the root, he says. I say root, but he says root. We have to go to the cause. Here he is, Malcolm X.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause.
Excellent job, show with no namers. Wow, it really flew by. Thank you so much for all your effort. We're going to say goodbye with a Who song. Who would have thunk it? ¿Quién lo hubiese dicho? That's right. It's Behind Blue Eyes by The Who. If you'd like to look it up, I'm sure you recognize it. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man. to be the sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like. All right, folks, Google it and sing it with me. Again, thank you so much for your energy and your effort every day. We'll be back tomorrow with more. I promise. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man. Sing it. To be the sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be faded,
To telling
only lies.
But my dreams, they all